So today we're going to talk about direct examination. We are going to call it 5-minute law school. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock. We are going to discuss as much as we can to get information out to you about what we think about as lawyers when it comes to direct examination. Let's get started.
Ain't no stopping us now. Wake up in the morning and I'm gonna have a lovely day. I'm not laying away.
Hey, Justin, how you doing today? This is my good friend and guest today, Justin Sturdivant. Boom. No. I keep doing that.
Good to hear from you, Marcus.
Thanks.
Good to hear from you, sir. Looking forward to our topic. Direct examination is something that I feel is a crucial tool for what both of us do.
I agree with you. Thank you for joining me on this. So let's do this. This is what I want to do. I want us to put 5 minutes on the clock.
Okay, don't get comfortable. You got 5 minutes.
And we are going to discuss everything we think we would express to, let's say, a young law student or a third-year law student, first-week attorney, that we would tell them to think in mind as they walk into their first trial to do direct examination. What do you think about that?
Perfect.
Good. That's what I like. That's why I invited you, because I like the way you said perfect when I say what I do. Here we go. This is where we go. How do I start this? Oh, here we go. So the important thing to remember about direct examination is there's two types of, the way courts get their information out to people is it's a conversation between a witness and an attorney. The jury or the judge sit there, but they're not supposed to ask questions. They're just supposed to passively listen. It's like eavesdropping at a cocktail party. You're part of the conversation, but you're not really supposed to jump in because you don't know all the information yet. Now, the important thing to remember about direct examination is this is when you talk to somebody who's on your side. Direct examination is when you talk to somebody who wants to tell you the information. Cross-examination, which is the other type of examination, that's for the person who's on the other side. That's when you don't believe the answer someone's telling you. Direct examination is for a person who you want to believe, if that makes sense. Now, the important thing to remember about direct examination is your job is to take the role of either the jury or the judge and ask questions you think they would want to hear. You're using their voice because they are not allowed to in that situation. So, you ask things like, what's wrong? Tell me what's going on. Tell me what the problems are. The truth is, in direct examination, you should really only ask 4 questions. What happened? How'd that make you feel? How'd you respond? Why? And then you go back to, what happened? How'd that make you feel? How'd you respond? Tell me why. Those are the questions you rotate through, and they should be able to help you. Now, as direct examination, your job is to tease out the evidence, sometimes from people who may not know what they need to say to get out to the court, or who have so much information in their head that they're unable to express that to a judge or a jury. And you go, slow down, let's talk about this. Or who just can't arrange their thoughts. And they want to say, well, you remember this, and you remember that. No. Let's talk about this one narrow situation. And then you get your points, and you get out. That's your job. Your job, this is rule number 1 in direct examination, you are not the star. The witness is the star. Your job is to get out of their way as much as possible. If the jury or the judge never remembers a question you ask, that's the right attitude. The right attitude is for them to remember the person on the stand, their facts, their emotions, and their feelings, and to feel some sort of kinship with them. All right, Justin, I used 20 seconds of your time. You go.
Okay, so what you're referring to are what are called natural interrogatory words. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. And there's a reason that those are also the same keywords that journalists learn. That's what they learn they're supposed to focus their pieces on. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Because that's the information that needs to get across to the reader. And when you're telling your story in court, that's the information you need to get off to your jury or your fact finder, which it could be the judge. So I agree with you.
I've
Now,
never
let me
actually
ask you.
watched a show where two sides agree. You're supposed to take the other side and tell me why I'm wrong and I'm the downfall of America. I think that's the way these things work.
All right. Well, tell me what's the difference between telling a story and soliciting a narrative response?
Well, your job is to break up the story that they're telling and to guide it. You guide the story. So the idea is they'll give you one sentence in response. Tell me, now you could ask certain leading questions. You're allowed to ask foundational questions. You're allowed to direct the story. All right, what we're talking about at this point is what happened when you got to the car. Tell me what happened as soon as you got to the car. But once they start talking, your only job is to get out of the way. Then what happened? How'd that make you feel? How'd you respond? Tell me why. And you tease that out of the witness to the point where the jury feels as though they're the ones asking you the questions. 30 seconds left. Let me give you my favorite tip, which sometimes you can't do. When I'm in a jury trial, if I am able to find a way to sneak around the prosecutor and the clerk and stand behind the jury box and ask the witness questions as if they're coming from the jury using my words but from their direction. So they're now looking at the jury by looking at me over the jury's head, and they're able to answer the questions that way. That is absolutely my favorite trick. Sometimes I can't get away with it. It's not a trick, it's not illegal, but it's my favorite technique that I like to use from time to time.
I only participate in bench trials. I think that would be poorly received by the judge if I went and stood behind him or her.
Well, that's our 0 minutes left laughter.
You trolling me? What was that?
No, we laughed, so I thought I'd play some with laughter. I agree with you. I believe that would be poorly received by the judge if you were to stand behind the judge's chair as you ask questions.
You got to watch tricky lawyers like Atticus Finch.
Here's your 3 takeaways for today. 1, let the witness be the focus. 2, let them express their feelings. And 3, maximize your time. Get in and get out. That's what's important. If you like this, like the video. If you want to subscribe, you can. If not, we're going to come back tomorrow with another 5-minute law school. Maybe next time about direct examination, or maybe, what do you think, rules of evidence? Special thanks to Doc Rock. Special thanks to Bradley Teaches. And special thanks to Justin Sturdivant for joining me today. I appreciate you being on the 5-minute law school. All right, have a good day.